The next part of my project is to make a flat lid to fit the slab clay box that I just demonstrated for you. This is the pattern that I used for the bottom of the box. As you notice, it's a little bit smaller than the box itself because when I added the walls, they added a little bit of length and width to the box. But I'm going to use this as a pattern for the lip that goes inside the box to keep the lid from sliding off. You'll see what I mean. But it needs to be a little bit smaller because it needs to fit easily inside without being too small. So I'm going to use my stick as a straight edge and cut off a fraction of an inch and see if I have it fitting right. Bring my box back over here. And it looks like the two short sides, I don't need to cut any more off of them, but I should cut a little bit off one of the long sides. So I'll take another fraction of an inch off. As you notice, I'm not being real precise with measurements, but I am trying to make it even. So I'll draw a line first and then cut it off. And then we'll see again if this is going to be the right size. Bring the box back over. And it fits just inside, so I think it'll work. Now the actual lid, I need to cover the whole top of the box. And since the top and the bottom are the same size, I can use that as a pattern. I rolled out a slab of clay and I'm carefully drawing around the outside of the box, trying to get the tracing as close to the size of the box as I can. And I'm not cutting into the clay really, I'm just making a line. And I'm being very careful because I don't want to have my hand slip and gouge the box that I just worked so hard on. Alright, I'm done tracing it, and I'm going to use a straight edge and a butter knife to cut it out. And I can press firmly now and then just peel away the excess clay. I'll do that on all four sides. And it's always important to take your time. Things actually turn out better when you do that. Okay, this is the piece that's going to be the actual lid, and it'll fit the box like that, but it needs to harden up before I can actually put it on the box. So I'm not going to put it on the box yet. I've rolled out some more clay, and now I'm using that pattern that I was trimming off earlier, and I'm cutting out the smaller piece that's going to fit on the underside of the lid to keep the lid from sliding off. And so that's what this one looks like. Taking the larger piece, laying it down first, and then I'm centering the smaller piece on the larger piece and adjusting the sides and scooting it around to try to get it as even as possible. With clay you can always make adjustments anyway, as long as you keep it soft enough. And now I'm going to use the needle tool to trace around the outside of the smaller piece, but not cut in deeply. A very light line is all I need. And I'm going to peel it off. And now I have a shape drawn to show where the smaller piece is going to fit. Since I have to score a large area, I'm going to use a fork. It'll take a lot less time. And I'm only scoring within the lines that I trace, so the outside edge of this larger shape, there shouldn't be any scoring on it at all. But on the whole surface of the smaller shape, I'm scoring. And I'm just scratching the fork lightly over it to rough the clay up. But it does take a lot less time than if I just used a needle tool or a toothpick. Okay, now I have my slip, which is my watery clay, and I'm going to brush that generously on the surfaces that I want to stick together. So I'm actually keeping this within those lines that I traced. I don't really want it on the outside of the shape, but on this shape I want to cover the whole surface. So I'm just painting it right on there. There. Okay, now I'm very carefully, I lay this on top and I try to center it as best as I can and press it down so that it makes full contact, so that as it dries and sets up it'll stick together. And I'm running my fingers along the edges too. And I'm trying to center things as much as I can and make it just as straight as I can and as even as I can. Clay is pretty soft right now. After I finish this, I'm going to have to set it aside to let it dry a little bit. I don't want it to be bone dry, but I want it to be leather hard, and that means that it's going to be stiff but still contain moisture. And once that's done, then we'll see what else we can do with it. The lid is now leather hard, and so I'm going to see how it fits. It looks like I need to trim down the inside a little bit so that it fits into the box, because there's a gap. Can you see that? It doesn't go all the way in. So to do that, I'm going to use a wooden rib. And I'm going to hold it at a right angle to the surface that I'm trying to shave off. And I'm going to just shave off just little bits at a time and then smooth it as I go along, because I just want to trim off enough of this inside of the lid so that it fits down into the box. And I don't want to gouge out big pieces of it. So hold your rib firmly, put it at right angles to the surface that you're trying to shave off, and then just take off a tiny fraction of an inch at a time, and then just rub it with your fingers to get it to smooth out. Okay, now I'm going to fit it into the box again and see if I need to do any more. And it looks like I still do, because it still doesn't fit all the way in. So I'll shave off a little bit more. And the key to this is to be very careful, because once your clay is leather hard, it is very hard to fix something if you cut off a lot more than you really want to. Okay, let's see. Take a little bit more off. Smooth it out. And now I'll see if it fits again. Okay, it fits down in there now. So that's all I need to do to that part of the lid. Now with the lid on the box, I'm just going to scrape the rib along the side of the box and the lid to try to make the lid more even with the box. Like that. There's more things I could do. I could add some things to the top of the lid, and I just might do that. Or I could cut some decorative holes into the box if it's leather hard. Or I could turn it into a building and make windows and a door. And here's the box with its lid from 3 different views.